Hello and welcome to the mains PYQ discussion by Neenv. The question here is about the 1857 revolt. Explain how the uprising of 1857 constitutes an important watershed in the evolution of British policies towards colonial India. It's a 12.5 mark question from 2016. So first we'll start by defining what exactly is 1857 revolt. It's a revolt which is called as the First War of Independence. What was it? It was a culmination of movements over 100 years of unrest, starting from 1757, which was the year of Battle of Plassey. What are we supposed to do in the question? We have to explain how this revolt was a watershed moment in the evolution of British policies towards colonial India. So everything that happened after the revolt is what we should be explaining in the question. So we'll give in the introduction, we'll give what happened before it. It was a culmination. Next, we'll say the keyword in the question, which is watershed moment, because the policies shifted. The policies of the British shifted completely after the 1857 revolt towards India. And we'll see what exactly it is in the body part. Now see, 1857 revolt and evolution of British policies, that will be our heading. First, we'll give the act of good governance. That is the first and foremost point. What does it do? It ensured a transition of power. The East India Company was taken out of the equation and British Viceroy was appointed. So no more Governor General, it will be Viceroy. And there will be a Secretary of State from the British Parliament to look after Indian affairs. So that's the first point. Second, princely states will be used as natural breakwaters from now. Now what does that mean? This revolt also has princely states as parties, right? Because people worked in different parts of India. In Lucknow, Wajid Ali Shah, his wife, son, Tantia Tope, Rani Lakshmi Bai. So these people need not be enemies anymore because the queen declared that there will be an end of annexations in India. Annexations will come to an end. And these princely states will accept the paramountcy of the queen. And everything, every policy, annexation policy like doctrine of lapse, subsidiary alliance, everything will come to an end. So since then, princely states will be kept with their respect in India. That's the second part. Now third, this revolt had Muslims as a major part. As a result, the British deliberately pushed down the divide and rule policy in India after this. See, evolution of divide and rule can be traced back to the 1857 revolt. Because in 1857 revolt, you can see that after the Sepoy revolt in Meerut, the soldiers are marching. The soldiers who are largely Hindus and Muslims, and mostly Hindus from Awadh region, the upper caste Hindus, they are marching towards Delhi. They reached Delhi and they declared Bahadur Shah Zafar as their leader. So the British was extremely disturbed with this nationalistic unity. So they wanted to deliberately play the card of Hindu-Muslim divide after that. They did that successfully. In Bengal partition, they did that. It led to the formation of the Muslim League. So the lesson was taught during the 1857 revolt and it starts from there. So the policy, as a policy, it is changing from here. Now reorganization of army. Higher posts were made exclusive for the Europeans. And selected bands who were loyal to the British during the revolt, like the Gurkhas, were maintained. Next up, the Zamindars. So Zamindars initially supported the revolutionaries during the 1857 revolt. Later they shifted royalties because the British offered them money and help. Now to appease the Zamindars is something that is very important and easy for the British because they are greedy people. They always have, because since they are rich, they have many things to lose. Once given privileges, they'll easily align with the British. And the British understood that. And the British was ready to appease them from here. Next up, the British came up with a lot of progressive reforms, like the ban of Sadi, William Bentinck, 1829. Such things were put to a halt. Because playing with culture was like playing with fire. Why would they do that? Why should they do that? What they need is money. They don't need to don't need to indulge in the civilization of Indian society. Because that was affecting them at a huge cost. So they stopped everything. English education, that was also stopped. That was limited. So they had an aim of building a class of British loyalists. Minutes Maculae, Wood's Dispatch. This thing was reframed. This policy continued, but this was reframed. What they want now is British loyalists. People who won't revolt against us. So that plan was intensified with this. So see the kind of measures. Good Governance Act, princely states, divide and rule, reorganization of army, Samindar appeasement, progressive reforms come to a head, and more channelized English education. And in 1885, we'll conclude this with the legacy. New developments, 1857, in a span of 20-25 years, the Indian National Congress takes its root. So we'll conclude this by giving the legacy. We'll start this by talking about the beginning. So that's the answer. Thank you for listening.